held an emergency meeting on the counterterrorism mission in Somalia after the U.S. announced it would cut funding. The AU convened an emergency meeting to determine the future of the African Union Support and Stabilization mission in Somalia after the U.S. unexpectedly announced it would end all funding. According to the Vietnam News Agency correspondent in Africa, on July 3rd, the African Union AU Commission convened an emergency meeting at its headquarters in Ethiopia to determine the future of the African Union Assistance and Stabilization mission in Somalia. Awesome. This move comes shortly after the U.S. government unexpectedly announced it would end all core logistical funding for the force by the end of this year, pushing the counterterrorism campaign in the Horn of Africa to the brink of complete collapse. In a letter to the AU, the U.S. confirmed it would cease all financial contributions to the United Nations Support Office in Somalia, UNSOS, the agency that allocates operating funds for the 12,000 troops in the AWESOM mission. Washington also affirmed that it would use its veto power in the United Nations Security Council to block any further logistical support mechanisms for the mission. Senior diplomats believe the U.S. decision is irreversible, meaning the AU will be forced to end its military mission in Somalia due to its inability to bear the enormous logistical costs. Since 2007, the United States has been the largest donor to Somalia's security, providing nearly $2 billion through the United Nations, over $1.6 billion to African military stationed there, and hundreds of millions of dollars in direct military aid. The security situation in Somalia is further deteriorating due to a deep internal political crisis. President Mohamud's decision to amend the constitution to extend his term by 1 year beyond the May 15th deadline has met with strong opposition from parties and local authorities, leading to numerous armed clashes in the capital, Mogadishu. Regional security analysts warn that, given the prolonged political divisions in Somalia and the withdrawal of funding for African peacekeeping forces, a scenario in which the Al-Shabaab terrorist group launches a full-scale offensive to retake major cities is entirely possible. In related developments, on the same day, the U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, announced that Washington had withdrawn most of the forces deployed in the campaign against the self-proclaimed Islamic State, IS, terrorist organization in Nigeria, but would continue to support the country by sharing intelligence at Abuja's request. Speaking on the sidelines of the African Defense Chiefs Conference in Angola, AFRICOM Commander General Dagon Anderson said that U.S. forces were deployed primarily to support a joint military operation with Nigeria last May, which killed Abu Bilal al-Manuki, identified as ISIS's number 2 leader globally. After completing the mission, the U.S. withdrew most of its troops from Nigeria while maintaining bilateral intelligence cooperation. The May operation was launched following U.S. airstrikes targeting ISIS in Nigeria around Christmas 2025, as directed by President Donald Trump. At the time, the White House stated that the operation was conducted in response to attacks by extremists on civilian communities, including Christians. In recent years, northeastern Nigeria and the Lake Chad Basin have continued to be security hotspots as extremist groups linked to ISIS and other terrorist organizations increase their activity. The U.S. and Nigeria maintain cooperation in counterterrorism through training, intelligence sharing, and technical assistance, while Nigerian security forces directly conduct counterterrorism operations on the ground. UAE is secretly building military base in Somaliland for U.S. and Israel, report says. A military base is reportedly being built near Berber Airport in Somaliland, with secret funding from the United Arab Emirates and possible use by the UAE, the United States, and Israel, according to a report by the French newspaper Le Monde. Le Monde reported that satellite images showed major excavation work underway in at least 3 locations south of the runway between October 2025 and March. The newspaper said at least 18 trenches had been dug in the sandy soil. It quoted a European security source as saying the underground structures appeared consistent with ammunition storage facilities or fuel tanks. There has been no official statement from Somaliland, the UAE, the United States, or Israel regarding the report. The reported construction has drawn opposition from some local figures in Somaliland. Traditional elder Sultan Ahmed Kabil opposed the use of Berbera Airport as a foreign military base, warning that such a move could draw Somaliland into regional and international rivalries. "I believe that the interests of my people are above foreign interests," Kabil wrote on Facebook. "Therefore, I am responsibly opposed to the use of Berbera Airport as a military base for use by foreign countries, which could lead Somaliland into rivalries and conflicts that are beyond our interests." He said it was unacceptable for Somaliland to become a site of competition between global powers or a base for the military interests of other countries. Any such malicious action can create security and diplomatic threats that are not in the interest of the people, he said. Le Monde said the construction coincides with Israel's reported recognition of Somaliland's independence on December 26, 2025. The report said Israel's move was aimed at establishing a forward position near the Gulf of Aden and close to Yemen's coast, where Houthi forces operate. The Houthis, backed by Iran, have threatened maritime traffic through the Bab al-Mandab Strait, a critical shipping route for Israel, the United States, and other international actors. Somaliland declared independence from Somalia in 1991, but has not received broad international recognition. Somalia's federal government maintains that Somaliland remains part of the Federal Republic of Somalia and says foreign policy and military agreements fall under the authority of the central government. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.